Get ready for a post-apocalyptic water war. This is our review of Radlands.
Radlands is a take-that, hand management style game where your goal is to destroy your enemy's camps before they destroy yours. And I have to say, I love this game. Pretty much everything about it.
Yeah, I'd have to say I love this game, but in the end it left me feeling kind of meh. We'll tell you why after we do the how to play. At the start of the game, each player draws 6 camps, and then they will choose 3 of those to play the game with.
The camps will determine each player's starting hand count.
Each player also starts off with a water silo and a Raiders card.
On your turn, you will advance and resolve your events, replenish your water, and take actions.
Players can take as many actions as they can afford. Water tokens are used as currency to pay for the actions in the game.
The cards you play will give you abilities to attack your opponent's people and camps.
The first player to destroy their opponent's 3 camps wins.
So like I said at the top, I love this game. The main thing that I love is the artwork. It's comic booky, but it also reminds me of Borderlands, the video game. It's dystopian or apocalyptic, era, and everyone's riding around in dune buggies, and even this, like I said, even this here is like the character on the cover that like does this or whatever. So mostly all the images and the drawings in here is really what drew me to it.
One of the things I do love about the game is the artwork. It's amazing artwork. All the artwork is very reminiscent of a comic book style, but the theming really reminds me of Mad Max and those post-apocalyptic type of movies.
The next thing I love about the game are the powers that a lot of the people have, right? So it's not too much where everyone's completely different and you have to take a lot of time to read, like some games where every single card has a different thing or you have to consistently go through it. Some of these characters repeat, so you're having this guy a couple times in there, so you know what he does generally.
The game is very easy to learn and it's very easy to teach. So if you know how to play the game and someone comes over and you want to play the game with them, you could teach them in 5-10 minutes and then you can immediately start playing. And after a couple rounds, they'll get the hang of it and be able to play a pretty good strategy back and forth against each other. So it's not that complicated.
Another thing that I really loved is one of the mechanics of the game. It's kind of reminiscent for those who've played Magic before. You as the player have your life points and you're putting down monsters to protect you. You put a monster down and they can't attack you directly for the most part. They have to get through your monster before they can attack you. That's kind of like this with the camps. Like if you have a camp, you put a people or a person in front of it, they're protecting it, and then the other player has to go through them before they can get to your camp.
I like the mechanics of playing the card in one round and then you get the ability in the next round. So you're kind of setting up, it's not exactly engine building because you still have to pay for everything. You don't earn and build as you go, but you are laying down your defenses to prepare for your next turn. So in one turn, it's kind of prep, and then the next turn it's attack.
So going with the theming of the game, everything's all about this precious resource, water. And each round it replenishes the water, but the economy in this is very tight. You want to do so many things, but you only start off with 3 waters. Maybe 4 if you have your water silo or maybe another ability. But like I said, things are really tight each round that you're like, oh, I got to spend 1 whole water on this, and then you only have 2 left.
I would say the currency system in this game is one of the biggest drawbacks I have with it. Yes, you can get rid of cards to get the junking ability, so sometimes you can take other actions by getting rid of cards. And so the combination of how many cards you have with how much water you can play really starts to limit your turns. And I feel you get a lot of actions early on in the game, and there's really not a good point during the game when you can really start to collect a lot of water. Yeah, you might have one turn when you have the water silo, and that turn you're going to do a lot of things. But then if you don't beat your opponent on that turn, on your next turn, you're either back down to 3 or you've gotten rid of all your cards, so you can't do anything anyway. So this game is very uneven with building your strategy and then consistently being able to do what you want to do and not feel like you're starting from 0 over and over and over again.
Or he can do something great and I'll see that and I'll be like, I don't like that. So whatever I had planned to do, now I got to pivot, destroy whatever he just did, and then now I start from 0 and I'm like, all right, where was I? Like, what was I going for again?
Which camps you start off with can determine how your game's going to go. For example, if you're able to have a good set of camps and you have something where you could play the Raiders card and then move up your event cards and then play an event card, like if you could chain it that way, you could defeat your opponent in a few turns. I know in one of the games that we were playing, I had a couple cards where I could do that. So every turn I was like, oh, event, play the Raiders card, take the Raiders card, just choose one of your camps to have damage. And then I repeated that every turn. That must have been very annoying for Lee.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a card or cards in there that probably breaks that chain or stops that from happening, but I didn't get it. So he's right, I didn't like it at all. I hated it.
I think one of the problems with the game that could alleviate some of that is if it wasn't a 2-player game. I'm not exactly sure why it's a 2-player game other than it's cheaper to make, because you could very easily have it as a 3 or 4-player game if you had more cards and then you could choose which opponent you're attacking. But because it's a 2-player game, every round I'm attacking Lee no matter what. I can't even choose not to attack Lee. Whereas if there were more players, I might have to choose, well, I want to attack Lee, but this person has a really strong card. I should attack them. And that leaves Lee open to then attacking someone else or attacking me and opening it up that way. And the fact that it's a 2-player game compounded with the water resources and the luck of the draw with the cards really diminishes the funness of the game about halfway through, which is why I say I love this game, but it still left me feeling kind of meh.
You know, I do like playing around with the idea, maybe let's get another set and then let's try a 3 or 4-player game and see how that turns out. You know, maybe we might have to change it up a little bit, maybe get 2 cards per round or something and give that a try.
Yeah, I definitely think some house rules could make this a really fun game. Like I said, there's a lot about it that I do like. It's just in its current state, it leaves me feeling meh. So I do think that we could come up with some house rules that could make it a lot more fun. If you've played this game and you have some house rules that you've added, let us know in the comments below.
One thing I will admit, a lot of times when I see like these player mats like neoprene, like, oh, buy the player mat for this game or buy the player mat. I'm like, ugh, player mats, like why? It doesn't even, who cares? However, this version that we got with these mats, it really helps because, you know, you have your event track, here's your water or your extra water, water supply, blah, blah, blah. Everything has a place and it was very easy for me to just visualize it all. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Because if this wasn't here, it's like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, put this right here, here. You know, you're using your imagination on a flat wooden table. So I don't know, get the mats if you can, because I think it would really add to your experience. So let me break it down. So as far as artwork and theming, I'm gonna give that top mark. So that's a 10 out of 10. As far as the mechanics go, you know, the economy could use a little bit of tweaking with the water and how much currency you're given there. The abilities can be tweaked a little bit too. Some of the chains that can happen can be a bit overpowered and annoying. So overall, game, let's give it a 7.
I love the artwork and the theming. It's my favorite thing about this game. That's definitely a 10 out of 10 if we were scoring it that way. The mechanics do need some improvement. I do like some of them and they are similar to other games that we've played. When we first started, I really liked the game. I was getting into it, but then as the game went on, it dragged on and I just felt like I couldn't do a whole lot. It just started feeling more and more meh. But overall, I say everything combined, it's a 5. And then since it's a 2-player game, Teresa and Juliana didn't play this game, so they don't have scores for this one. And that was our review of Radlands.
What'd you think? You ready to ride or die into the post-apocalyptic sunset? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny.